Hey, and welcome to my second annual Stocking Stuffer Gift Guide. In this video, I'm going to tell you a bunch of games, a whole slew of games that you can get for under $30 that will fit in a stocking. Here at Board with Life, there's a lot of people in our group. We like to give each other Christmas gifts, but, you know, board games can get expensive. $60 or $70 a game doesn't work if we're giving, 10 people gifts. But 10, 15 bucks works pretty well for us. I did one of these last year. I still like all those games, so if you want even more ideas, you can check that out. So you can just stuff those stockings kind of disturbingly full. Like, so when people go, oh, it's Christmas, and they'll go like, oh, I don't know, can I just pull here? Help? Coloretto. I think that's probably the oldest game on this list. I think it's about 10 years old, but it is a classic and it's great. It's a very small card game. The theme is you're a chameleon and you're trying to change your colors, but you don't want to change your colors so many times because then for some reason you lose points. It's a pretty loose theme, don't worry about it. But the interesting thing about the game is you have a hand of cards and you play them into the center of the table on 4 different tableaus. And at some point you decide, I want that tableau because it has an orange and a blue and I'm collecting orange and blue and that's good for me. But what if it's got an orange, a blue, and a pink and you've got an orange, a blue, and a black already? Now that pink's going to lose you points. So there's a little bit of risk reward in it. There's some hand management and set collection mechanics. It's very good. I know what you're saying now. You're going, but Chris, my person that I'm giving gifts to, whoever that may be, really likes comic books and they really like superheroes and they really like the Avengers. What on earth could I get them? Is there nothing for me? Oh, there is. There's Marvel Dice Masters. Marvel Dice Masters is a collectible game, much like Magic the Gathering, where you have randomized packs of different boosters and things like that, but the base sets will get you going and there's a lot of game in there. You get to play as different heroes and you've got all these little dice with custom symbols and they're really, really cool and they're fun to roll, and you put them all in a bag and you draw them out and that's how you fight each other. So it's a very popular game right now. It was a big hit this year, so it's a sure bet. This one's a little bit different. This one's Fiasco. Fiasco is actually a pen and paper role-playing game. So kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but not really at all. It focuses way more on storytelling instead of like dice rolling and combat. And it's also very funny and the game always falls apart. You play the whole game in one night, it's not this long extended campaign, and basically you're all playing small-time crooks, kind of like a Coen Brothers movie, and you've got big aspirations and things aren't going to work out well for you. The game falls apart in a really, really fun and thematic way. We always have a blast playing it. Sail to India is a Euro game packed into a tiny little package. It is deceptively small. People often think it's going to be a lighter game because it is so small, but it's actually a pretty deep, complex game with very simple mechanics, but a lot of deep gameplay when you get into it. It's a very elegant game about sailing to India, but kind of whatever. It's like a pretty normal Euro. You're moving cubes a lot. It's one of my favorite on this list. Oddball Era Knot is a very interesting card game. You don't play it on a table. You hold all the cards in your hands. You can play it in line waiting for a movie or at a convention or basically wherever. So it's a very portable game. You have a hand of cards and you kind of select a couple different actions that you're going to do and you keep that hidden and then you reveal simultaneously to the other person and you see who wins combat. That oversimplifies it, but not by a whole lot. It's a pretty easy to pick up game and a pretty interesting one. I know what you're saying. You're saying, but I don't like these tiny baby games. I want a huge game. I want a 4X game. I want Twilight Imperium in a tiny box. And you know what I'll say? You can't have that. I mean, Twilight Imperium is a huge game. Don't be ridiculous. But you can have Tiny Epic Kingdoms. Tiny Epic Kingdoms packs all that 4X excitement. Extermination, expansion, exploitation, and Excalibur, whatever the other X is, into a tiny box where you play these fantasy characters, elves or dwarves or all that kind of stuff, trying to expand your kingdom. Tons of game in a very tiny box, so this is definitely for your fantasy fan out there. You're saying, yeah, Chris, these are all great, but what about my uncle who drinks too much? And I'd say, I probably wouldn't buy him a board game. But if you did, I'd probably buy him No Thanks. And that makes No Thanks sound like it sucks, but it doesn't. No Thanks is great. It is an incredibly simple, tiny card game. Lots of push your luck mechanics, lots of hard decisions based in a very tiny game. Donald actually did a review for it, and I'll put that up here or whatever, and you can go check it out. Sushi Go. I love this game. It is a very, very cute drafting and set collection game where you're just collecting different kinds of sushi. The artwork is super, super cute. It's a very simple and easy to pick up game, but we love this game. It's a great filler game, so definitely look into that one. And now you're going, oh, that's all great that you want a simple drafting game, but I like meat in my games. I want potatoes. And I go, that's a weird analogy. Stop saying weird stuff to me. But you want Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale is a very similar drafting set collection game, but there's kind of more complex strategies. A lot of the cards will make other players have to flip their cards over where they don't get points for them, and vice versa. There's a lot of moving parts in there, but it's an absolutely great game. And now you're saying, I know I've been doing a lot of weird analogies. I'm going to be honest with you, it's because I don't have any friends. And I will say, great, what you need is Friday. Friday is by Friedman Fries, who designed Power Grid and a lot of other games, and it is a solo game, and it is a solo deck building game. You are on a deserted island, and you're trying to survive. It's a very interesting game, and it's a great game to play by yourself. I do it on lunch breaks a lot. Hey, That's My Fish is a very cute game about you're all penguins and you're sliding around on ice trying to gather as many fish before all the ice breaks up. It's a very simple game. It's great for families. It's very cute, and it's in this tiny little box, and it's got custom little sculpted penguins. I highly recommend it. Alright, that was Fast and Furious, but thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of good ideas for games that you can give as gifts and stocking stuffers this year. If you didn't, there are more videos. Go click around. I got other videos where I've done this before. I plan on doing it next year, where it's going to be all the games, all the tiny little games you can handle. Bored with Life is actually taking a bit of a break for December. We're going to hang out with our family. We're going to have a little bit of R&R, and then we are hitting next year hard. We've got a ton of stuff planned for next year. We're working hard on all of it. Our series is going to come out next year, all that stuff. But we're going to lay low a little bit for the month of December, but don't worry, we will be back.